Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the D&T Wrestling Show. We got another episode back for you today. I am your host, Daniel, the D in the D&T. I'm joined by the co-host with the most, Tyler, the T in the D&T. Tyler, tell the people how you're feeling.
I am feeling fantastic, fantastic. Another great week of wrestling. Friday was fantastic. I mean, one of the best Smackdowns I've probably ever witnessed.
That's hard to disagree with. I've seen a few people float that around, the idea that it's the best SmackDown ever or one of the best ever. And then when you really think about it, the amount of things that happened in the middle, followed by the main event that we got, which we're going to cover here today,
Dude,
might be the best. Let me say this. So me and you have talked about this before. We started watching wrestling again about a couple years ago, about two
yeah.
and a half years ago, let's say. This was the best Friday Night SmackDown I've seen since then. That's
Yes,
for sure.
I
In my
agree.
mind.
I
And
am
as far as
100%
a
agree.
Friday Night SmackDown, beginning to end, not just one big segment. There might have been some Bloodline stuff a couple years ago, whatever, but this was freaking awesome, dude. Like I'm excited
Yeah.
to get into this. I honestly I don't think we need to.
Especially after the lackluster Mania that we had. Especially.
That's this. Well, you know what? I think we probably have a few notes on that exact kind of topic, so we can actually, if you want, we can get right into it. You know,
Yep.
we'll start here with what happened on Friday Night SmackDown, and then we actually got a segment for y'all where me and Tyler, we're starting to kind of roll into the new season of wrestling. We do want to give y'all our predictions of who we think will actually dethrone the current champs that are all seated for the main belts. So no NXT stuff. We're not really prepared to talk about that. But for the main belts, the big ones, we're going to give y'all who we think kind of makes sense to take those belts at the moment. Things may change down the road, but we want to see, hey, if we get this kind of thing right. So we'll do that after the SmackDown review. And we'll get into that right now. So I'll kick it off. Look, the show starts off. I did want to note this real quick. You get a little intro package that it's the same one they played from Raw, where it literally is just going over WrestleMania. Now, they're trying to show us a lot of the more pertinent things for SmackDown, but the important thing here is that they got to, once again, for us, so graciously play Fiend, and we got to hear it again. Just one more time. Just one more time for us, the gracious WWE Universe got to hear the song Fiend again from Travis Scott and Playboi Carti. Wow. Amazing. Such a great song.
Theme is
Anyways,
just,
it's so
dude,
yeah,
it's a great theme song.
it's a great song.
Apparently.
It's just kind of getting to that point, guys. Let's be real. And I like both artists,
Hey,
but let's be real. Hey, anyways,
you
we'll
are a
get.
Playboy Cardi truther.
Oh, I'm a big Playboi Carti fan, bigger than Travis Scott. I'll say that, which is not too common. Maybe nowadays more than it used to be, but even that song, I don't play it myself. I don't listen to that song. It's like they play it. You can walk down the street and you'll hear it playing out of a speaker or something like that. It's crazy, but we don't need to spend too much time on Travis Scott, Jesus
No,
Christ. But
no.
we'll get into the first thing of the show. What do we start with? None other than the guy that's been starting every show for the last couple of weeks, John Cena. Dun, 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 dun. John Cena sucks. He comes out. It's your normal thing where he comes out and he gets that announcer to do the same thing as Monday Night Raw, where he says, hey, you did my introduction wrong, you need to do it again. He says the GOAT, the last real champ, blah blah blah. And right before John even gets a chance to say a word, Randy Orton's music hits. We're already starting off with a freaking bang. So Randy kind of does his thing, comes out, and I'm going to kind of go through my notes about, because I did kind of go through how this promo is important, y'all. I want y'all to listen to this. This is what is setting up the probably main event of Backlash coming up here in a what would it be, about 3 to 4 weeks
2 weeks.
probably.
15, today is 2 weeks.
2 weeks, so it's actually only it's not far off. So they're setting up for that. Randy, John Cena. Randy comes out and he says, he's known John for about 25 years. He knows that John has had that hustle, loyalty, respect stuff, and it wasn't just a motto. Randy's saying, it wasn't just a motto, I know you live by it, John. And he says, John, I'm going to be honest with you, you need to have some damn kids. He tells him the problem here is that you don't have any kids. And it's funny, and the crowd
It
kind of
makes
is
you a
like,
better man. It makes
it
you a
makes you a
different
better man.
person.
Exactly. Like it would make you think about those kind of things that are important in life and not what you're doing now, right? Which is I kind of feel that angle. It kind of does make sense in a way. But John kind of comes back and he says, you know, he would have his own kids, but and he turns to the crowd, WWE Universe, and he goes, "I've been raising your kids for 25 years," and the crowd goes
Hmm.
crazy, boos and cheers, all of it. That was a good bar. That was a good bar. Don't care who came up with it. Good stuff. Good stuff. And he says he's been a better parent to these kids than the parents. Like looking right at parents in the crowd. So he's got all these kids there. He looks at a kid in the crowd. He points him out, and he says, "Kid, your dad is a loser. He's a loser." The kid flicks him off. He's like, "Oh great, this 6-year-old just flicked me off." He was working it into the promo, and he's like, "Great, like this is what I'm talking about. These parents don't know how to raise their kids at all." And he kind of keeps drawing back and forth, and then he goes back to the dad, and he's like, "Don't look at me like you're gonna do anything. You're not doing anything." And then he kind of like backs up. The crowd is like, "Ooh," it's like, of course the guy's not gonna what? Like the guy's not gonna do anything. But it's funny. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
He said the only thing your dad's good for is dressing up like Jack Black.
Yeah. He points that guy out and he's like, the only thing this guy is his entire life revolves around looking like
Oh
Jack
man.
Black, and I'm supposed to feel bad about that. He says like, I'm supposed to feel bad about that guy booing me. Like I don't care. Like to Randy, he's saying all this. So, let's see, where was I? John says like he used to be like Randy, like he used to think the way Randy used to think, but one day he finally realized that it wasn't him in the WWE Universe winning these championships. It was him. John Cena was winning those championships. And it was kind of like, okay. And the John Cena people in the crowd were like, yeah, like they're cheering this. Um, he really starts to break out. I put down, he breaks out his therapy language. This is kind of the character I think he's playing. He's like this almost like sociopathic dude who is like, people
Yeah.
tell him go to therapy and he does, and then he like uses what he learns there to like talk to people, which is like, it's
Yeah.
cringe, it's annoying, but that he's a heel, so he's playing that character up, which I think it's great. I think he's playing it very well. So he's using all this therapy language to the crowd. This is a toxic relationship. This doesn't work anymore. He's been doing that for weeks. And
Hmm.
let's see. Randy comes back. He starts spitting about how, okay, screw all that. I don't care about any of this anymore. You're talking about how you're going to ruin wrestling. I need you to understand what that means. He brings up, he says, Cody Rhodes' theme song starts and says, wrestling has more than one royal family. Now, that was a reference to Roman's family versus his own at the time, but it spoke louder to a central point that, yes, the WWE has a ton of nepotism. But I think they're one of the more, it's a stronger bond than maybe other jobs or whatever you want to look at it. WWE,
Yeah.
these people train their kids from birth to be the best wrestlers in the world. That is a pretty common thing. Okay, so
Hmm.
Randy's like, you say you're going to ruin wrestling, John. You're talking about ruining it for my family. You're talking about ruining it for Cody's family, for like the Flair. Like he's bringing up all these families, and he's like, you're not just ruining it for these people. You're coming for us. And he's kind of like losing it. He's like, I don't care about what you're talking about anymore. I don't even care about you anymore. I'm not your friend anymore. You're coming for me and my people. Like enough. It is like enough is enough. Like that kind of thing. The crowd is like getting into it. I like this from Randy, by the way. I really like this angle. I think it makes a lot of sense, and it is a bit easier for him to go aggressive like that than be like, John, I'm a good guy and I'm your friend, John. Like it just doesn't work for Randy. I think he actually felt a little uncomfortable being like a friend at first. Whatever. Um, so then John actually comes back, and we're kind of getting to the crescendo here, and he's like, Randy, you don't understand. I'm not trying to ruin this for just you and your family, buddy. That's not what this is. You are at 14 championships on your career. I'm at 17. I just set the record. If I walk away with this belt, I close your door to ever beat me in my record. They're going to make your new aluminum belt your new toy belt, which he's right. They're going to make some new belt that doesn't have
Yeah.
technically the history behind it. And Randy would technically start at one. It would not be the same
And
belt.
we talked about that on our last
We
episode.
did.
We
We
literally
talked about
talked
that a
about
lot,
that.
actually. And now they're
Hmm.
literally weaving it into the story. We got Clay J2K in the chat. What up, Clay? And, he's basically saying, Randy, I'm not just here to, like, embarrass your family. I'm here to literally take history away from your family. Generations will be gone. And
Yep.
that's what I'm here to do. So then it builds and builds, and they're kind of just saying regular general shit at this point. And so John goes, "Oh, you know, enough is enough himself," and then he goes to hit Randy with the belt, and he misses, and Randy hits the RKO on him. So I was actually a little
Yep.
surprised by this because Randy already RKO'd him. I kind of thought maybe John would get his this time, which is leading me. I'm sure you kind of feel the same way. It's leading me to believe John is probably going to win at back. Like there's not
Well, they
even a
did the same
question.
thing with Cody, right?
They did.
Cody
They
hit
did.
and hit last time them two met. Cody hit the crossroads on him, and John did his overselling pass out thing where he just literally closes his eyes and can't move on the mat. So yeah, it's just
Yeah.
yeah. So
I'll,
yeah,
I'll,
I agree with you.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna add just real quick. John did like Randy challenged him to a match right there and then. John was like, "No, we're gonna do it at Backlash because I know it's in your hometown and I want your family to be there because it's the last time you're ever gonna be this close to another championship again, and I want to take that away from you." So it was it. John really did the most he possibly could to be a heel. I love this. What do you? Or I don't know if you want to address Clay's comment and then say what you want to say, but you know,
Yeah, I'll address Clay's comment right now. Clay, yes, we are both on Clay's WDN4L podcast on Wednesday. Probably going to be on YouTube and other podcast places on
yes,
the
sir.
Thursday after. So this is the Thursday. I don't know the date, but right now we're April 26th. So whatever
We're
the
gonna be
Thursday is at that point.
talking about some draft results for our teams, for our
Yes,
squads. I
yes.
guess I'm not really sure what
So
else
definitely,
we'll exactly go over, but the draft happened and we're going to talk about it. So it's going to be fun.
yep,
That's
we're going to
NFL
talk
football
about.
stuff for all y'all that are interested in that. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Yep. Yeah, so come check it out. To get back to the Randy Orton and John Cena stuff. Um, obviously I thought the promo was good. I this feud is very believable, very, hits at home. I think they were even kind of promoting it as WWE's promoting it as like one final match or one final time, something like that. So this could be the last time that we see John Cena and Randy Orton, face each other. So yeah, I'm excited for it. They did end up announcing the match at Backlash, so it's the first official match at Backlash
That's
St.
true.
Louis.
That's true. Good point.
So, so yeah, we have that match confirmed, and we'll see where it goes from there. Yes, Randy Orton has kind of come up on top since Monday and Friday, but we still got 2 weeks to kind of see what's going on. I guess one more week, right? And no, 2 more weeks. It'll be 2 more weeks in terms of WWE scheduling stuff. So we'll see what happens. And no, the match and the feud can't be more perfect.
Let me ask you this: if we're doing like super early predictions, or I'm automatically assuming John Cena just wins the match, right?
Oh, I agree. So
Yeah.
John Cena wins the
Okay.
match. John Cena wins the
Super
match.
early predictions, but like that just kind of seems obvious.
I want Randy to punt the living hell out of John Cena, but I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately.
I don't think that happens yet. I don't think that happens yet, but I do like. I think you told me this. You're the one that first brought this idea to my head of like he punts him so hard that it like.
That he knocks his
Yeah,
screws
yeah.
back. Yeah, I can see it.
But that
I can
happens
see
in
it.
like a couple months. Like down like that's the meme way to end it all at the end. That kind of thing.
Yeah. My
Um,
my realistic prediction for just John Cena in general is that he's only gonna have like two feuds, and we'll get to our predictions on who's gonna dethrone the champions later
That's
on in
true.
the video.
That's true.
But yeah, I only think he's gonna have like two or three like real feuds that are gonna last a couple cycles. Because what was he at 27 on Monday? 27 appearances. Now he's at
27.
26
Now he's at
appearances
26. Yeah.
because he was
Jesus.
at SmackDown. So
Yeah.
we're ticking away. So I know we got till December, but I mean, really, like we'll see. We'll definitely
That's
see.
true. Yeah, we'll kind of touch on that more later. Yeah, that's about all I want to say on that. I guess I'll add in that I do kind of have bad feelings, and I do look down on the fact that The Rock really has a. He is the one that set this entire fucking thing up in the first place. It all revolved around this idea that he was going to be more involved, and it's pretty obvious at this point
Yeah.
that he has backed out of that. I think that's pretty clear.
Well, he
Look,
did say on Pat McAfee's show, he said, I felt like, and this was him talking, this wasn't the final boss talking, because he now has two different characters. When he speaks, he has to
right.
address
He kind of goes back
him
and
actually.
forth.
So he addressed to where he felt that the storyline had got to a point with the two big stars telling their own story together, and Rock didn't want to like be above those two. He didn't want to step in and be like, the attention's on me. I want the attention to be on the two superstars in the ring. Um, that kind of goes hand in hand, or goes like a whole 180 when you add Travis Scott into the picture. But whatever. I don't. That's 2 weeks ago, whatever it is now, a week ago. We'll figure it out from there. But yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did address it and say like, you know, the reason I'm not there, and the reason I just want them to do their thing. I don't want to be. I don't want to be this looming figure over here. But you already put yourself in that situation by coming in elimination chamber,
Yeah,
kind of
it's
setting yourself
more
up.
like
I get it, but that's yeah.
my problem is they did have Travis Scott come out. It will never make sense to say, well, Travis is coming out but not The Rock. That's what I would say. He can frame it that way, The Rock, and that's fine, I guess, and I'm not necessarily discounting that he believes that. I kind of think he's just making that up, you know what I mean? But I would
Yeah.
say I'm sure someone in the writers' room was like, well, shouldn't The Rock come out with Travis Scott? And then they were like, well, The Rock doesn't want to come to WrestleMania this year, dude. He's
Yeah.
not feeling it. If it is because of what he said, that's his own creative direction. I'm not going to take away from that. I don't think the
Yeah.
WrestleMania thing with John Cena and the Cody Rhodes was as horrible as everyone wants to say it is. It's just the match wasn't that good, and everybody hates Travis Scott. But I don't think me and you actually hated that all that much. But
Mm-mm.
but with that being said, this direction they're going, Randy Orton and John Cena, is very fun. I am excited for it, even though I think we both know. I think it's like an 85% chance John Cena wins. I think they understand
Oh
that.
yeah.
You know, again, won't go too far. We'll give you our predictions later, but yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah.
Do you want to? I was gonna. Clay did say Seth Rollins announced a Bears pick. You could tell he was used to doing promos, or what it is that y'all call them. Yeah, that would be like the promos, the talking, the public speaking, like all of
Mm-hmm.
it. And I would actually kind of just real quick, like I would say as an adult, that's something that drew me back into all this was really the public speaking aspect of all this. That they are
Yes.
basically acting, but it's like a more of a public speaking thing all in one, and then they also do fucking fake fighting in the, you know what I mean? Like it's a very odd thing to do, but it is very impressive when they're good at it, and there's a lot you
I
can
may
take
be
from
in the
it.
minority. I may be in the minority of wrestling fans, but
Mm.
I personally prefer promos over wrestling.
Over wrestling, I think that's I kind of like am
Normal wrestling.
shifting.
Let me rephrase that. Normal wrestling. The match that we had on
We'll get
Friday
to
night,
that.
the main event.
You're right. I see what
That's
you're saying.
crazy.
That's hard to
But
beat.
just like if it's just a one-on-one match, like
Yeah,
I prefer like them talking to each other, going back and forth, like Roman's promo stuff. Like those are I love them. I honestly I like them a lot more
it is
sometimes
its
than wrestling.
it
So.
is its own art style, and I think there's a lot of people in WWE that are truly pushing for, wrestling to be represented in like the award shows and blah 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 blah. And I do think that's totally fair because at a certain point you need to realize like, oh yeah, WWE guys, like they're lucky to make it into acting. It's like the amount of people that can make it from the other mediums into wrestling is slim. It's slim. And the
Oh yeah.
fact that you're finally seeing so many try to do it, Logan Paul, Bad Bunny, all the football players, like it's a good sign. And I think it'll build towards WWE or wrestling in general being taken a lot more seriously. I think America, and I'm being a little hyperbolic, like big brained here, but like America really could embrace it as something that's like fucking American as shit. You know what I mean? Like we love
Oh yeah.
wrestling, and the world sees us that way. That's why WWE is so popular. But anyways,
Mhm.
we just beat the hell out of that first
Yeah.
promo. It was important, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's all we got to say about that.
Yep.
Tyler, you
We'll
can
move on
take
to
the
the
next
second.
thing. Yes, sir.
So the first match of the night was I'll introduce them first. Legado del Fantasma, Angel and Humberto versus the debuting Fraxium, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. One of the fastest growing tag teams in the industry of wrestling across any brand across the world right now. They're high flying, they're fast, they're electric. They are, they might not have the best promo ability, but I will tell you, like if they were in that main event match, they would have killed it just as much. Like they would have been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
They are, I think, NXT's longest reigning tag team champions,
Yep.
from my
They are.
understanding.
They broke the record.
Um, And yeah, it's a good debut match for them. Technically, like Nathan Frazier had the match with Ray Phoenix a couple weeks ago for Ray Phoenix's debut. Um, and Axiom had a debut match. I think it was against Gunther back
Axiom. He
when
did. He did. Remember? He did. He
in
did. He absolutely
Brussels
did.
or whatever it was, right? All right. So
That was Gunter
I
being a
think,
real one and realizing like I'm gonna give a talented
oh yeah,
wrestler a shot. But continue.
yeah. So yeah, they both had their main roster kind of debuts, but never as a tag team. So yeah, they're two again exciting prospects. The match was great. Match had a ton of different spots, high flying spots. Um, I can't even really name one. It's been on beginning off my top of my head,
It
but
it
they
was
had a couple
maybe
good ones.
yeah maybe lackluster in like memorable spots. It was I think this was
Yeah,
about showing off both teams' abilities to do moves, that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, yeah, like just your point as well. Like Angel and Alberto did fantastic as well. I
Oh
just
yeah,
remember seeing both times like it was a longer match, than I would have kind of expected. Usually these
I
debut
agree.
matches are a
I
little bit
agree.
shorter. But no, I thought it was a good match in general. I really did. Fraxium ends up with the win on their debut, and hopefully they probably have a storyline with those with Legado del Fantasma in the next coming weeks.
I agree. I'm like I'm wondering if what's going to happen is they'll be more on like the tag team merry-go-round, right? So they'll have, because they're the new kids on the block, but they're not just new, they kind of come with like this history, that they'll have them do like, oh, they'll fight this team and then this team and
Hmm.
then this team and just get everybody used to seeing like, oh,
They'll
wow,
go through
like
the ringer. Yeah.
because you said the most important thing here to start. They don't have the greatest mic ability. They really don't, right? And not yet, at least. They're both kind of young, I think. I don't know how
No, they're both
older.
younger. They're definitely
I
both
was gonna say I don't
younger.
know how old
And
Axiom
then
is, but I
and
know.
then
I mean,
Axiom is from Spain, so he's already going to have a hard time trying
right.
to
So it's all
uh
gonna be on Nathan
do
Frazier,
promos.
who I think
Yeah.
is like not quite there yet, which is fine. It's not a huge deal. They're a tag team, right? So the notes I have for this match was just like you said, it was hard to maybe pin down a certain spot that was like, oh my god, this one thing. But I did just say in general, Nathan Frazier himself is really explosive. He's very like the commentary just kept saying he's so fast, he's so fast. He actually does like
It really is.
he just does everything very quickly. Whether that's actually considered a good thing in wrestling, I'm not 100% sure. I'm
Well,
not a
go back to what do you even call it? The Ray Phoenix debut where he was doing that around the ropes thing where he
yes,
was bouncing off the ropes and being able to step and just move sideways and go off the other ropes. Like he's just very agile, very quick.
yes,
Again, two super athletic freaks. And that's why they ran the tag team so much. Like that's why they ran the tag team
yeah.
division down in
Down
NXT.
NXT especially,
They
yeah.
were just dominant. They were fast, high flying, electric. Like a faster, quicker Hardy Boys. Basically, is kind of what I'm seeing.
That's what I was gonna say. That's funny you say that because my note for Nathan Frazier was athletic, explosive. Not that Axiom isn't those things, but I think Axiom is a bit more, funnily enough, because he's the luchador, but he's more of a technical wrestler. I think he does a lot more
Hmm.
of like those moves that you have to be efficient on. You have to kind of make them look really good because they're a little harder to do that. But he's really good at doing those moves, and you see
Yeah.
why this tag team is so entertaining pretty quickly actually.
Hmm.
Elgato del Fantasma did a really good job of. That's what we mean by like they did a great job too. They did a great job of looking like hard to beat, but they were getting beat. You know what I mean? Like they
Hmm.
were getting their ass beat for most of this match. I
Nope.
said the only other thing I said is that Fraxium won on Nathan Frazier doing a damn Phoenix Splash, which is a pretty cool move off the turnbuckle, and I'm pretty sure the way they do it is Axiom hits a 450 splash right before that, which are both highly impressive moves, for anybody to do.
Yes.
So, super fun match, worth watching highlights, maybe not the full match. If you're catching our vibe here, like watch the highlights, not
No.
the full thing. It's not quite there yet, but they should be featured a lot. I would rather see them over. Oh God, no, I can't even say that, dude. The match we got for
I
y'all at
just
the
don't know
main
why they
event,
debuted him. I don't know why they debuted him on SmackDown and not Raw. Raw just
that's
needs
so
so much
fair.
more
That's maybe
help with
they
the
will get.
tag team division, dude. They could go in there right now, beat the New Day next week, have it like and run with it, man. They could have such a good tag team run
I
over
think
there.
this is time of
But
year though where that could change. Even though they did just debut, I could definitely see them immediately moving to Raw. Because you're right. Like
oh,
you said it
I
what
was
2 episodes ago that they have no face tag teams. But what do
No,
you
there's
want?
like none. But I was just saying, I did some research and they are doing a draft. They're doing a
Oh,
draft this year.
perfect. Okay, so
So we'll
then we
see.
got to do a draft
We'll see.
episode. We definitely got to do a draft episode. We'll
Oh,
get
for
that out
sure.
for y'all. This is the first time I'm learning of that. So cool. Okay, that's all I got for the match. Hey, Johnny King in the chat. He says Alistar Black. We will be getting there. We are only in through the first couple segments of the show, but yes, we will be getting to that part here soon.
Yes, sir.
I think. Do you have anything you want to say on that the match? Fraxium, anything about them, or do we want to move on to the
No,
next thing?
let's move on straight
Okay.
to the next thing.
All right. So the next thing, probably one of the also more important things that happened in the show. You got Tiffany Stratton comes out to do her kind of, victory run. Hey, I beat Charlotte Flair. I kind of took an ass beating, but I beat Charlotte Flair. She comes out,
Hmm.
talks her shit. She says, everybody says that I was going to be the next Charlotte Flair. Wrong. There is only one of one, Tiffany Stratton, and then the whole crowd. I'm gonna tell you what, the crowd is super over for Tiffany, like insanely over right now for her. The entire crowd was word for word, beat for beat with her on these promos. And I'm gonna be real with y'all that she's not the best promo cutter. She actually isn't. She is
Yep.
pretty on the line, on the fucking script. She's not really adding in her own stuff. You can tell that she's very scripted. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but it is not up there with a CM Punk or a Cena or a
Yep.
Flair, a Charlotte Flair. Like, it really isn't. But it doesn't matter. The crowd loves her so much. I like her a lot. It's hard not to like. Like, she has the charisma, whatever. She's talking her shit. She says all that, but then she's interrupted by Jade Cargill. Okay. Jade comes out and basically says, how can you say you're the best when all you did was beat Charlotte and you haven't even faced me? And then Tiffany's pretty quickly just like, okay, let's fight right now for the belt. And they're like, okay. And they literally just put the match on, and there you go, the match is on. Okay. We get into this match. I did note it was pretty rough at first. Kind of hard to watch at first. I could like it was hard to tell whether they were like messing moves up or if the point of the move was for it to get broken up halfway through. Like, a lot of different lifts and slams were just awkwardly being executed. But that was only for the first
Yep.
couple minutes. Once they started getting into their stride, and where I would say this happens is, funnily enough, it's actually a moment where Tiffany, she goes to do her moonsault thing, right, where she jumps up, and then moonsaults. She messes it up, and
And she
then,
slipped twice.
well, she slips twice, and the commentators are calling it out, and then she does the backflip, or hold on, maybe no, I see. No. Okay, yeah. So this is where it turns around. So she messes it up, yes, but then she moonsaults, and Jade catches her out of the air, out of this moonsault, and then she's like dangling there, and Jade like immediately just full power flips her up and power bombs her. Like, this is a very hard
Yeah.
thing to do because Tiffany was
Yeah.
not in a spot to really help her with the flip, and Jade just powered through it completely and just did it anyways. Yeah, Jade is a freak of nature, and honestly, so is Tiffany. Watching them wrestle was pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. They start getting this is awesome chants. Tiffany was like spamming her little backflip cheerleader like hit you in the corner move. Anybody that's kind of watched her in the past a lot knows what I'm talking about. She backflip hits you in the corner. She was spamming that a lot
Mhm.
this match, but it was a little bit of in-ring psychology because she goes for it a third time because it's been working, and Jade actually does catch her here, and she goes to like slam her or whatever, but then Tiffany counters that and then like basement slide kicks her. It was really fun, right? All the back and forth. So what I'm trying to tell y'all is that, like, yes, it started slow to kind of like younger or maybe less experienced wrestlers, but they really did get into their own stride here, and it gives you hope for the women's division, that kind of thing. Fast forward here, they do have like a really good near call after that little basement kick. There is a point where they do a
Oh, they
black.
did. That was like
It was
2.99.
really
Like,
close.
it
It
was
was it
close.
was like a good close call, just kind of out of nowhere, like off a move that did look really powerful and really strong. Like, it was good. Like, they were building good match
Mhm.
psychology. I don't know what else you really could ask for from this kind of spur of the moment match between two people with not much story built, right? So you kind of get here near the end. Um, things are getting. Funnily enough, I don't know if this was planned exactly right this moment, but what happens is Tiffany does a backflip. She has a wardrobe malfunction. Okay, her chest pops
Yeah.
out. Let's say that, and
It's like happens every
it
week.
happens
It
a
like
lot with
happens
Tiffany. It
every
does. So they
week.
so they black out the screen, black out the screen. You can't see anything. And then as she's kind of going to roll away and fix it, this just happens to be where Naomi runs in and attacks Jade. The match is over. This is a championship match, by the way, and Naomi ruins it for Jade. Jade technically wins the match, but of course she does not get the belt from that. That doesn't make any sense. So Naomi kind of ruins it. Botch of the night for sure because Naomi does not land a single punch on Jade when she does this. Like she's
Yeah.
like doing this and not hitting anything. It just looks really stupid, but whatever. It's not real, whatever. But
Yeah.
so that happens, and then Tiffany's kind of like going after Naomi, like you ruined my match, like what the hell, you made me lose. She's pissed that she lost, but she knows she didn't lose her belt. And then instead of Naomi coming at her, Nia Jax comes in the ring from behind, attacks Tiffany. So now both of these face women who face each other got attacked by their heel counterpart, almost maybe insinuating that Naomi and Nia work together. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But that's kind of what it seems like, right? Nia just kind of dumpsters Tiffany. Tiffany's beat up. Nia takes the belt, raises it high. That's scene, right? So we start with the Tiffany promo. Jade versus Tiffany for the damn championship belt. Kind of gets messed up by DQ. Nia Jax standing tall over Tiffany. So a lot happens here. A lot. I know I just kind of went through a lot, but it was important, right? Kind of like earlier this week, how we started with a EO promo, roll into Stephanie Vaquer, who is their up and coming person, I guess, now on Raw, and then you end it with a DQ. Almost exactly the same, right? But a lot of important things happening here. What do you think?
No, yeah, the match, like you said, it wasn't the best match in the world. It was okay. It wasn't the best. Like I'll probably give it like a 3 star right in the middle,
I think
right?
that's fair.
And I still think a lot of it has to do with Jade's inexperience. But she's just such a superstar that she has to get TV time. So, and there's only one way to learn. You have to actually do
That's true.
matches, right? So, but no, yeah, Nia comes in, attacks Tiffany. Naomi comes in and attacks Jade. I was initially thinking that they were going to set up a triple threat with those three with before Nia came out. I was like, oh, they're going to do a triple threat, and then
Ah, I see what you're
this is how
saying. Okay.
Tiffy kind of wins, and that's kind of how they do that kind of thing, right? But then Nia comes out, and now I think Nia and Tiffy are solely the. It's going to be a one-on-one match
Backlash.
at Backlash. I think we're finally going to get that match, that feud, from whenever Tiffy cashed in, because we never really officially we got one match on SmackDown, and she never really officially won because it got interrupted, and then we had her pin Nia at Elimination Chamber in the tag team
Right.
match.
Right.
So we have not really officially got that feud yet. So we're finally getting that, and I think Tiffany will retain. Going just further into the future, if that's the case, if that's what we're going with. But yeah, so I like that we're finally getting that feud. The Naomi thing, I don't know what I feel, unless the next match that they have is like a Sin City Street Fight, for example, like one of those type of
Something
matches.
more than before.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the feud is so like I want to kill you, I want to kill you, like I hate both, like I
Yeah.
hate you both, like I think something like that will up this feud again for me because I kind of thought it was over. But if they're gonna bring it back to us, I mean, I'll be okay with it. I just want to see kind of what they do with it. That's all.
Yeah. No, I agree. I kind of also agree on the Naomi character. We'll see what direction they go since it does feel right now like she's only really attached to Jade, maybe Bianca, but it's like I think it would benefit them to find maybe someone else that she can believably have a feud with. I don't know. Maybe not yet, but
Yeah.
somewhere soon. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. If that's all we got on that, you can take
No,
the
yeah,
next segment.
we'll move to the next part. The next part is Jacob Fatu, our new United States champion, comes out with Solo Sikoa.
Yes, sir.
His I love you, Solo. Right. So Solo comes out and but with both of them, obviously. Solo has the mic. He starts talking. He's like, "Your new United States champion, Jacob Fatu." And then, like, very quickly into the promo, uh, Solo goes, um, "I'm the reason Solo's here. I'm the reason Solo's champ. Nobody else wanted to take a chance on him. I am the reason. I am the reason. I am the reason." Solo is taking all of the credit for Jacob winning his title. And Jacob's obviously seemingly getting pissed as he's talking, and Jacob snatches the mic out of Solo's hand. And Solo's like, okay, okay, like he knows he's messing with Big Dog over there.
Uh,
And Jacob says the line that he's been saying, he's like, I'm gonna either do this with you or without you. And then you're just gonna have to come along for the ride, basically. And you know, that's kind of striking a feud between those two that I thought was going to happen at Mania, but I'm kind of glad now that we're going to have a little bit longer time to build this feud up. But then we get, as Jacob is still talking, we get LA Knight's music pops, and LA Knight comes out and is like, "I want my rematch. I want my rematch." Um,
fair.
Basically saying like, Jacob, you beat me fair and square, but I do want to issue my rematch clause. And then as LA Knight gets into the ring, as soon as LA Knight gets into the ring, Drew McIntyre's music hits and comes out and says, you know, I don't want to deal with John Cena. John Cena sucks. That type stuff. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He's like, I was gonna go deal with John Cena, and then Randy Orton kind of just stuck his nose in line and cut all of us, just like Randy Orton does. And then he said, but I don't really care about that. I don't care about John Cena. I want to face the biggest and baddest dog in the WWE, and
Oh
that's you,
yeah.
Jacob Fatu. Uh, and then LA Knight's like, well, you got to kind of wait your turn. And then we set up a match that gets announced for later in the night, a Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight number one contendership match for the United States Championship. So, do you want to go over that match? Or do you want to just kind of still go along because it didn't happen right there? They said Nick Aldis comes out and says, "Lace up your boots, and we'll do
Nah,
this later."
that comes later, so we'll get to that when it comes up because they did do that
Okay.
later in the show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we can
Okay.
stick to kind of the part Jacob was involved in, and maybe
Hmm.
really what I think is important here is the Jacob and Solo dynamic, obviously, because
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
trying to show us like
It's also
Solo.
interesting that Drew comes out. Drew, out of all people, comes out, but it's telling for Jacob, right? Because Jacob or Drew is the main eventer for sure. He's one of the top caliber dudes in the WWE, and he comes
Well,
out and wants to fight Jacob for his title, making his title seem prestigious, in my opinion.
I think there's something they're doing with him specifically, but I'll kind of touch on him. I think when we get to the match with LA Knight,
Okay.
that I'll say what I'm thinking
Okay.
because it'll make more sense then. Because I don't want to spoil what
Okay.
happens yet, but I do think there is some type of direction they're going with him. LA Knight, I think I think Jacob's gonna beat whichever one of these people is the person, right? I think it's just like
No.
the pop right now for Jacob is crazy. The crowd was like really behind Jacob when he was cutting his promo, and he does have that like rappers cadence type of thing where he's like hitting these beats and like saying these rhymes and doing all this stuff, and it's fun. It's fun to follow
Yeah.
along, but the crowd really loves it. It's so much better than like Solo. It's so much better than I would say it's better than Jimmy. Maybe not better than Roman, but
His promo abilities.
like when he does those things, like he really starts getting in a groove. He
I
has
think his
such a
promo. I think
personality.
his is the third best promo ability in the Bloodline, which is Roman's first, then Jimmy, and then
Jimmy,
I'll say Jacob Fatu.
that's fair. Jimmy's
Jimmy's
pretty good.
promos. Jimmy's
Jimmy's pretty
promos are
good.
pretty good.
Jimmy is
Jimmy's
pretty
pretty
good.
good.
I think yeah, that's fair. I don't have an issue with that. Yeah, but yeah, that's the only big notes I have at the moment on this because yeah, like I said, there's obviously a match that we'll get to in a little bit. But do you have anything else?
No, we can move on to the next match.
Okay, so real quick, we got Chelsea Green versus Zelina Vega for the Women's United States Championship belt. So they're just moving along with banger after banger here, like important match after important match. So just to kind of give a little bit of a recap quickly, Zelina Vega has beaten Chelsea Green up to this point already twice. and they were kind of like, can she beat her to prove that she should qualify to fight for the belt in the first place? And that's the story they've been running. But the story they've been telling is that Chelsea Green has her secret Hervis around her, being
which is perfect. I love it. It's
Piper
great.
Niven and who's the other girl? Not Alba, or is it? It's the red hair girl. I can't remember her name, but they're good. It's
Alba
fun.
Fire, yeah, Alba
Alba
Fire.
Fire, yeah. So they're interfering in these matches a lot, and so Zelina does get this championship opportunity. And let's see. Basically, what's happening for the first I would say 2/3 of this match is the secret Hervis just literally fucking Zelina up in every way. Like every time the ref has his back turned even a little, they grab her and shit on her like really
Yeah.
bad. Piper literally just full like swanton dived on her on the
Yeah, they played the
outside.
heel card very well
Yeah.
in
Like
this match.
I think they did more damage to her than Chelsea did even in the match. So they're really actually playing. I kind of like it because I think the only way that it's believable that Zelina could win this belt at the moment, she's just so small and like you know what I mean. Like it's just so it's hard to really believe like she's the best. You know what I mean? But Chelsea is such a fool and like a ditz that it's like well she needs her people around her to really help her win. Like she needed Piper to originally win it in the first place. So what happens here is the ref catches Piper and Alba messing around, like really obviously messing around. Does the like you're out of here? The crowd does it with them. So the crowd is in this match. Like they really do
Yeah.
care, which was nice. This was a good crowd in my opinion for this
Oh
show.
yeah, it was a great
For the
crowd.
most
Yeah,
part, yeah, they were pretty good through and through. Um,
especially to a later spot in the night.
that's true.
But go
That's
ahead,
true.
go ahead, go
We'll get to
ahead.
that. So we now have Zelina versus Chelsea. No interference possible. Pretty much like a couple minutes right after that happens, Zelina hits her what is it called? Zelina hits a code red on Chelsea. Looks really good. That is something Zelina does do very well. She hits that move and it looks amazing. 1, 2, 3. Zelina looked just as shocked as I think all of us were, and you could even see people in the
Yeah.
background like, "Oh my
Like
god!
whoa,
Like Zelina
whoa.
won! Like this is crazy." Okay, no crazy work. Zelina won, and immediately the Secret Harvest comes to try to mess with Zelina. Zelina rolls out. She runs away with her belt. The crowd is cheering. They're popping. That's it. It was
We have a
fun. It was
new
cool.
women's United States
New
champion.
women's U.S. champion, Zelina Vega. So we'll see how that goes for her. If Ray and them maybe rally around her or something like that. I have no idea, but we'll see what they do with her. They obviously they gave Chelsea Green the secret Hervis. That's a lot, all right? Like they molded her whole character around that. So we'll see. What are your thoughts on this one?
No, I think it's deserved from Zelina. Zelina is one of, if not the best women mic worker. She is
I agree.
her promo abilities are insanely good. She just doesn't get enough of them for whatever reason. And even back when Backlash was in Puerto Rico 2 years ago, like her little feud with Rhea Ripley, like she was doing good. I thought that she was going to get a super push after that because, everybody loved her in Puerto Rico. Um, she had a decent match with Rhea Ripley. Obviously, we all knew that she had no chance of winning, but she got the good pop. She had some good promos with Rhea, like all that type of stuff, right? So,
She did everything
it's just
you
good.
could ask for. Like that. That's what I would
Exactly,
say.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm glad to see her getting her flowers now. I don't think her wrestling ability. Unfortunately, people that do the 619, just get
What?
rid of it. Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. It's
Get
Rey
your own
Mysterio's and Rey
move.
Mysterio's only. I'm not saying that to say like it is Rey Mysterio's. You should not
Oh
touch it.
no, I agree with you.
It just doesn't look as good as Rey Mysterio's. It looks slow. It looks not fluent. It looks like uncomfortable. So please, anybody that uses it, Dominic Mysterio, Zelina, two people off the top of my head, get rid of the 619. In my opinion. But other than that, like I said, we do have a new women's champion, and I think if there is some serious feuds to happen, like promo battle feuds, like Zelina will cook. Zelina will cook on the mic, and it'll be great.
Yeah. No, I agree. I guess we'll get here in a little bit to who we maybe theorize might be the person that dethrones
Yeah.
her, but
Mhm.
you know, it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward. Yeah.
Sure.
look, I got nothing else. You can take the next thing.
Let's take the next thing. The next thing is so we have Carmelo and Miz promo. So the Miz comes out and starts talking. To be honest with you, I don't even remember what he was talking about. All I know is that we got back the demon, the dead man, whatever you want to call him. Aleister Black
Well,
is back in. Go ahead.
do you want to say real quick what him and Carmelo did, or does it like? Because remember, it starts with him talking to Carmelo, and then he comes out to the ring, and then that happens.
You go into it. You go into it because I genuinely do not
That's all
remember.
right. All I want to say is that so
All I
Melo,
remember is just Aleister Black coming out, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought he was
yeah.
cool as shit.
Melo won the Andre Giant, whatever, and Miz gifts
Yeah,
him
yeah.
an Andre the Giant gold chain. Like literally, it is a
Okay.
massive Andre the Giant bust made of gold on a chain, and for Melo to wear. And so this inspires the Miz. He's like, you know what, man, you did your thing. It's time for me to do my thing. I'm gonna go out there and show him. And then Melo's like, yeah, let me come with you. He's like, no, I need to do this myself, big dog. You celebrate. So then that's what leads into what you were just saying.
Okay. 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 But yeah, I completely forgot about that
That's
because,
all
like I
right,
said,
because
I'm just
obviously
excited
not
about
quite the most important thing
Alistair
here.
coming back.
Yeah,
He's just like, dude, he looks cool. He's menacing. Perfect timing. Obviously, WWE knows what they're doing because Aleister Black and Zelina Vega are married in real life. So Zelina just wins. She gets her moment, and then Aleister comes back into the WWE after years of being out of it in AEW. And now he gets his moment. So I'm assuming we're going to get Aleister Black versus The Miz in the next week. And then yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. To see, you know, if he even possibly thinks about it, joining the Wyatt Six and being another part of that. I don't know. He's that type of character. I don't know. I don't know what to expect, and that's kind of why I'm excited. I know I've never actually really watched him. He just, like I said, he looks cool. He's his music I thought was actually pretty decent. It wasn't terrible. So yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm ready for the Aleister Black experience in the WWE for 2025, I should say.
yeah, no, same. I'll say this. I don't know about you. I think this is true for you as well. But like, I've never seen him really much. I have watched AEW like a fair bit, but I guess I just never happened to watch when he is on. I
Mm.
think if I remember correctly, he was kind of injured here and there throughout his tenure at AEW, but he's coming back from being on NXT a while ago. It should be exciting to see. Like a lot of people are really hyped about this, so I'm excited to see how good he actually is. I guess he has like a MMA kickboxing background, so like he does the what is
Yeah.
it, Black Mass is his finisher. It's a roundhouse kick to the head. It does look pretty damn convincing, right? Like I think he
Dude, him and
actually
Karrion Cross at like a tag team would be insane.
that would be pretty cool.
Insane.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. I have no idea what his mic ability is like. They obviously did this thing where he didn't have to say a word. He just kind of looks around and does a kick. So if he happens to struggle there, it would not be a horrible idea for him to tag team with Carrion, and they have a little group
No,
there. And you don't get crazy
no,
with it and add 3 or 4 people all at once, but you just kind of have them as a posse. I think that'd be cool.
no,
Um,
for sure.
but yeah, should be exciting stuff from Alistair. And yeah, the song was really cool. Song was really cool. I like the entrance. So
Yeah, I did. I did.
I don't know anything else on that.
Def Rebel didn't ruin this one. No, I think we're
No.
good to move on.
Okay, so next thing, I guess I'll cover the next two things because it's like one thing really quick and then the actual thing. So real quick, so Bianca does a promo where it's basically an interview with the one dude, I think Brian something, I can't remember his name, but uh,
Oh, just go ahead. Just go
you
ahead.
know who I'm
I'm
talking about,
blanking on
but
his name.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's whatever. And she does the interview where she's basically saying, I injured my finger in the match, and there was a lot of footage of her at WrestleMania and prior or post or whatever, where she does have her fingers bandaged up. So it's pretty obvious that she probably did actually. I mean, I hope she didn't break them. I hope she just sprained them or something like that. But a break is possible, and if that's the case, she probably is out for maybe a couple months at a minimum. So bones breaking is never that is never going to recover quickly, right? It's always going to take time no matter how good your medical care is, right? So
And this
she's
kind of, I think, will go into. I think she'll take some time, and I think we'll kind of go into what we predicted before Mania. And like I
That's
was talking
right.
about, like
That's
in
right.
SummerSlam time, possibly WrestleMania time, her coming back, and I was the one that told Naomi to
You were the
exit.
one
Yeah,
that stuck to that prediction too, so that would be yours. You can take that credit. Um, I'll say this real quick.
who knows?
Funny that you bring that up because it was like Bianca did say, "I'm gonna be back soon, y'all. Don't worry. When I come back, I got a broken house that I got to mend." Because like she's literally saying, "Yeah, Naomi." So I like that they're kind of saying like, "Don't forget, like Bianca, this is a feud we are keeping an eye on. Bianca's gonna come back, and her first task of business will be Naomi and Jade, not Io, not whatever." She specifically
Yeah.
said, I gotta stop paying. She was like, I gotta stop worrying about Raw and the belts. That was fun and I tried, but like I gotta go home to SmackDown and take care of my house. Good promo, whatever. Real quick, we'll say we got Clown Lover here in the chat. She says, "Hi Divas." Dumb question, but how long does WrestleMania go on for? Tyler did say it is a 2 day thing. You got your 2 days, which would have been this
It's a
past.
whole weekend, but it's 2 days because there's
Yeah,
SmackDown, WrestleMania, SmackDown, and then there's the Raw after Mania. That's kind of all looped into one. But the actual show itself is only 2 days.
I was gonna say, yeah, I would call it 2 days for the actual thing, Saturday and Sunday, but I would call it all one big thing. Last Monday to yesterday Friday, I would just call it WrestleMania, like
Oh, that's fair too.
prior, during, and post week. I think it all matters and it's all set up around each other. It's all good time to be a wrestling fan, you know what I mean? But we are actually
Yes, most
literally
exciting time.
1 day out of it now, right? So we are officially out of WrestleMania season. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We got a
Yep.
year to go. About a 350 whatever days, 7 days or whatever. Goddamn. But yeah, look, that's that one. I'll then go on now to the next like actual match. This was Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight. We had just kind of brought it up earlier. This is for the number one contenders for the U.S. Championship belt. Jacob Fatu has. Let's see. This was a decent match. I don't think it was the best match in the world. I think Drew kind of carried it. Drew is the one actually doing a lot of athletic moves, a lot of like his kind of move set, which is like unexpectedly like jumps, like a lot of kicks, a lot of things like just being athletic, even though he's kind of a bigger dude. Whereas I do feel like LA Knight was just kind of getting thrown around or whatever. And I do think he does. We talked about this in a previous episode where LA Knight like has that tendency to take some things off. And I think in his mind, what he knows is that this match, I'll just cut right to it. It ends with Damian Priest coming in and interfering by beating up Drew McIntyre as kind of a payback for what happened at WrestleMania. Damian Priest losing to Drew McIntyre, kind of getting his ass beat. So the match ends. So that's kind of what I'm saying. LA Knight might have taken it off a little bit, knowing, doesn't really
Well,
matter.
LA Knight got hit by Solo. Solo came in and hit LA
Well,
Knight with a
right.
chair.
I was just gonna say like, so.
Well, that happened first, and then Drew was looking at LA Knight
Oh, you're right. You're right.
why like I don't want you guys to help me. I want to do this by myself. Like why did you do that? But like screw it.
No,
I
no,
guess
no,
I'm
no,
just
no,
gonna go
no.
try and pin him.
You.
Or
I
no, he's
think you're
trying to
getting
set
the.
up a Claymore,
I think you're getting the order
and then
wrong.
he tried to set up a Claymore, and then Damien came out and
Oh,
slid
you're right. You're
the
totally right. So
yeah
Solo, yes. So Solo comes out and he does interfere, but this wasn't caught by the ref. That's what I'm getting mixed up.
no
This was not caught
yeah
by the ref. So Solo comes out. This is what I meant to mention earlier. I'm glad you brought that up because I would have forgot. This is what I wanted to say earlier, but I didn't want to ruin this segment. I think this is important because we've been fed this storyline for weeks and weeks, months and months, whatever, years actually, that Drew McIntyre, his good guy side is that he hunts the bloodline, who are,
hmm
for the most part, bad guys. He hunts them, he fights them, he embarrasses them as many times as he can because they did ruin his career, whatever, a couple years ago. So this was a moment where the bloodline just straight up helped Drew McIntyre. That's just fact, and you can see it in his face where he's like, I don't know if I should even accept this help, but fuck it.
no
Like you said, hit the claymore, gonna get the win normally, but then I guess I don't really remember. Was it that Damian Priest then comes
yeah
in
so
and kind
no
of ruins it anyways?
yeah
Like
he's about to hit the Claymore. He does like one, two, and then Damian Priest comes in and
that's right.
ruins. Like he
So
comes and pulls him out of the ring, like that type of stuff. And he's like, like you thought I was gone or something like that. Like what I don't remember exactly what he says,
Yeah.
but then he starts beating
So
up on it. But the ref does catch that and then deems it a disqualification.
disqualification.
And then LA Knight goes and talks to Damian Priest. He's like, "You screwed me out of my match. Like what happens now? Blah blah blah, all that type of stuff." And then that goes into, I didn't mean to cut you off or anything
No,
like that, but that kind of goes
keep going.
into my prediction for Backlash is that we're gonna get a fatal four way
Fatal
between all
four
four
way.
of these guys.
Yeah. So it's important to note. So what happens here is Damien throws Drew through the table, through the announcer's table. He's decommissioned. LA
Oh, I
Knight
forgot about that. Yeah.
he confronts Damien. He's like, "You lost me the match." That's what leads into what you're saying. So not Solo. Jacob Fatu comes out and just like literally destroys LA Knight and Damian Priest at this point. So I agree with you. I think this is how they pull Damian Priest into this feud somehow, right? Like they just kind of pull him
Well,
in,
no,
yank him
because
in.
it all makes sense. It all makes sense because LA Knight was the one who eliminated Damian Priest in the Royal Rumble. Because remember they were going. Remember like the night
Oh
before they had like a tag match
shit!
before, and then yeah,
Yes,
so
you're right.
it all
No, that
links
does
together.
make sense. That does make sense.
And
So
Triple H knows exactly what he's doing. He
sometimes
knows
he
exactly what
is
he's doing.
cooking. He's got like a hot. He hits and then he doesn't. He hits and he
Oh
doesn't. So
yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. He's
no,
getting
he
his
know. Yeah,
stride.
it all links together.
Triple H has
Damian
only been doing
Priest.
this for a couple years, by the way. But keep going.
Oh yeah, he Damian Priest has ties with LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. That's how he feeds in. LA Knight has ties with every single one of them now. Not really Drew McIntyre as much, a little bit.
Like now he
But
does, I
has
guess,
ties.
because of this
Now he
match.
does, yes.
And
Now he
they
does.
did
Drew
talk
McIntyre.
shit before the match, like earlier, like we mentioned. They talked hella shit to each other.
Exactly. So it all blends together. It all blends together.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't. I know I said. I know I said Jacob Fatu. No, I guess it wouldn't. Or I know I said Jacob Fatu was going to have a long reign with this. I'm thinking we're going to get a month's worth of Jacob or 2 weeks worth of Jacob Fatu United States
Oh
Championship.
shit.
We'll get into the predictions, but this is a hot take for me
You're
right
thinking
now.
something's coming. Okay. We do you want to we can.
This is where I think Solo is going to kind of screw him, and then
Oh,
we're
I
going to get
see.
Solo and Jacob, and then we're going to get Solo and
Uh,
Jacob. So
okay. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Um, look, that's about all I have to say on that. That's how
yeah,
that ended. That's kind of the trajectory of that. Do you want to
yeah,
take this last
I'll speak
promo
on the next.
before we get into
I'll speak
the?
on the next thing
Yeah.
until the actual main event. So the next promo is John Cena is walking in the back, um, just all mean mug face, and then a fan comes out of the crowd or comes right beside him, and he goes by the name of R Truth. R Truth says, "John, you're my favorite. You're my childhood hero. I'm gonna be like you someday." And then John Cena's like, doesn't say a word, just walks on by. Um, you know, R Truth is saying like, if you need help, I got you. Like I'm on your side. John Cena just walks away. Jimmy Uso comes in and says, our Truth, Jimmy Uso comes in. What's up, Truth? What's up? He's like, what's up with John? Jimmy says, and our Truth's like, man, he's got a lot on his plate. Like, I'm gonna try and grow. Once I grow up, when I grow up one day, I'm gonna be just like him. And then our Truth walks away, and then Jimmy's like, but man, you are grown, and it was just hilarious. Our Truth
Yeah.
segments are great. But yeah, that leads into the main event, and my friend, I will let you take this one away. This is a banger if I've ever seen one in my entire life.
This match almost made me cry real tears. Like it was
It
one of
was
the
great.
most
It was so good.
beautiful like executions of something that people watching would want to see I've ever
To
seen
all
in
the
my life.
to all the non-wrestling fans that watch our
Please
show, like
watch this
Clay or
match.
Bryce, just go and watch this match.
Please
You
watch
will
this
have
match.
a blast of a time. You don't have to know anything about wrestling. Just go watch the match.
It's so
I'm
good.
sitting in my bed like at night, dark. I'm just like my wife is going to sleep, and I'm sitting here screaming because of everything that's going on. I'm gonna let you take away. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting, but I'm
So
just excited.
I'm going to do my best to do this justice, ladies and gentlemen. This deserves the most attention to detail. I am not going to sit here and explain to you story. I'm not going to sit here and explain to you what these people feel about each other. None of that matters. Literally none of that matters. These people did more in one wrestling match than I think I've ever seen in any other wrestling matches in my life. So therefore, what we're going to do is literally just go point by point what they did in the match, and every single one could be the ending of the matches we discussed earlier. That's how good each thing is. I want you to understand that. So we start. This is a TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs WWE Tag Team Championship match. The Street Profits, Montez Ford, and was it Angelo Dawkins? I call him Dawkins, but
Angelo Dawkins.
and Angelo Dawkins are your champs. They are the last ones to come in. You have your 2 challengers. So this is a 3-way tag team match. 6 men in the match. 2v2v2. The first tag team, the first challengers to come in are Motor City Machine Guns. So these guys are a little bit older, but they were much more popular all around the world as tag team wrestlers when they were a little younger. They still are, but they're just older now, if that kind of makes sense. Motor City Machine Guns. You have Alex Shelley, and I can't remember the other guy's full name, but it's like
Nick Saban, or it's not Nick Saban.
Saban, something Saban, like Chris Saban. Alex Shelley. I'm gonna list the names because there's so much I'm gonna call out here in a minute that you need to know the names and know who is who. Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, and Chris Saban. Next is your next challenging tag team, DIY, do it yourself. You have Tommaso Ciampa, recently shaved off massive beard, of which he had been growing for years. Shaves his entire beard off. He looks like a freak. He looks like a freak, and he looks uncomfortable. Doesn't matter. He's there to do a job. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano come out. DIY, the next tag team. Then, like I mentioned before, your champions come out. Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set. We begin. The Street Profits. Okay, so the match has begun. We get into it. Normal things are happening. Fights, punches, whatever. Doesn't matter. The first important thing to happen, Street Profits slide kick. So they slide to the outside of the ring from inside and kick DIY, who are both holding a ladder. Okay. So they kick a ladder that they're holding from inside the ring. Pretty cool. They do a sliding kick to do this. Then Motor City Machine Guns go corner to corner to corner to corner. One person from each tag team is in each corner, and these 2 are flying like bees corner to corner to hit them each. I've never seen this spot in wrestling. Like, swear to God, I've actually never seen this. This is literally just like the first few minutes of the match. Dawkins throws Tommaso Ciampa over the announce table when Tommaso Ciampa is setting up to throw Montez Ford through the table. He throws Tommaso over the table and then goes and picks up Johnny Gargano, runs around the ring with him, and slams his head into the corner and is like, yeah! And the crowd is fucking going crazy. Okay. Motor City Machine Guns puts Angelo Dawkins' leg in the ladder, so the first ladder that's set up to get the belts. They put his leg in the ladder and drag and corkscrew his leg so it like snaps in the spokes of a setup ladder. Very painful. And he is actually like, like he's screaming because he's a big dude and he's like stuck, literally hanging by his leg from this ladder. And then they kick him a few times and he finally gets out. Motor City Machine Guns throw Tommaso Ciampa into a ladder, but they were holding it steady so that it wouldn't fall and it wouldn't do as much impact. They held it still so that when they threw him into it, it would actually like hurt him, and he runs headfirst into a ladder. Then they throw Montez into the ladder, but he slides under it. So they try to do the same thing to him. He slides under it, and they push the ladder, which was standing, onto him, and it hits him, and he's like, okay. But then Dawkins comes up. He gets Motor City Machine Gun like off of Montez. He's fighting him, and right before he's about to hit them both, they fight back, string him up. Oh my God, this spot. This spot was so gnarly. They string this man. Angelo Dawkins looks like he could be a point guard in the NBA. He's a big fucking dude. They string him up by the legs, upside down, on the corner, and they both, 2 men, climb up the ropes and stomp down on this man's man. They stomp on this man in a way you wouldn't want to be stomped on, upside down. What? They then take a chair and line it up in front of his face, and they do a sliding drop kick to his face with the chair. Then Motor City Machine Guns does a middle drop kick to Montez's chair. So Montez goes to save Dawkins. They go to hit him with that same chair. He's like catching it. He's like, no, you're not going to hit me with the chair. The other one jumps off the top rope and drop kicks him through, kicks the chair into him. Bruh, I want you all, ladies and gentlemen, we are 1/3 through this match. We are 1/3 through this match.
Crazy, dude. Absolutely crazy.
DIY then slide the ladder. So Dawkins is still strapped upside down, got his dick stomped, got kicked in the face with a chair. DIY, so now that ladder that I mentioned earlier is now laying flat on the ring. DIY gets up. They take each end of the ladder from outside the ring and run it into Dawkins' head because he's upside down, almost touching the ground, and they run the ladder into his face at full speed. They're fucking this dude up. Now DIY and Motor City Machine Guns are on the outside, right behind where Dawkins is strung up upside down, and Montez Ford runs full speed from the other side of the ring and front flips over Dawkins, who's hanging upside down, and bombs the 4 on the outside. Holy shit chants ensue. Holy shit. Holy shit. The crowd is now losing it. Joe Tessitore, who I meant to mention this throughout this review of this show, has been slurring his words throughout the entire show. Possibly the worst night of commentary from Joe Tessitore. By this point in this match, Joe Tessitore is giving the commentary of his life. He is here with emotion. Okay?
He really is,
he is loving
really
it. He is a wrestling fan, and he's calling this like his life depends on it.
We just needed something like this to get his ass excited, because he just needed to get excited about something.
So keep all this in mind. Montez Ford just did all that, and you're thinking this might be, we're getting here near the end here. So they set the ladder up. Tommaso Ciampa and Montez Ford go up to fight for the belts, and you're kind of thinking these are the two likely teams to win. DIY or Street Profits retain, and they're standing up. Oh my God, Tommaso Ciampa is up on the ladder with Montez Ford, and they're fighting for the belt. Johnny Gargano comes and takes another ladder and sets it up behind Montez Ford. So 2-on-1 now. Montez on his own. And Johnny Gargano, let me see what does he do? He does a spinning.
I don't know the move.
It's called I had it in my notes. It's called a flatliner, where it kind of looks like a DDT, but it's more of like a face plant from the front. He does this to Montez off his ladder onto Montez's ladder.
An F5 DDT.
Like an F5 DDT, all in one motion off the top of that ladder. And Montez sells it like he just died. Now it's DIY is up. They're there. They just did it. He just got Montez off. It's DIY's time to win the belt. Oh my God, the crowd is going to their feet. They're booing. Hold on. Let me see. Dawkins climbs up. Dawkins comes in and hits Tommaso Ciampa, gets him down, and one punch knocks him out and gets him down. Dawkins climbs up to the ladder. Now it's just Street Profits all alone. But DIY gets right back up, and Johnny climbs up the ladder with Dawkins, and then Dawkins hits his finisher to Johnny off the ladder. It's like a twist of fate, like a similar thing, like a DDT. He just takes Johnny and does, I think they called it a silencer, off the ladder, just out of nowhere to Johnny off the ladder. The crowd is once again doing holy shit chants. We're halfway through the match.
Only halfway.
We're halfway through the match. Okay. Tommaso Ciampa is now once again the only one up there, because now Dawkins has removed Johnny from the ladder. Tommaso Ciampa climbs up there, but Motor City Machine Guns is back up. They start climbing up a bit, and then Dawkins pushes them, Tommaso on one side of the ladder, and I think it's Shelly from Motor City Machine Guns on the other. He pushes the ladder over, and it looks like they're going to fall, both of them, into a table. But they both catch the ladder from falling on the rope with their feet. which I've seen this maybe a couple times before, but it doesn't happen often. They usually just go
Mhm.
through the table, whatever. But this is supposed to be like, no, these are good wrestlers. They're smart. They're veterans. So Tommaso and Shelley both kind of like stop their fall to the ground. Cool spot. Ciampa and DIY, like they kind of get their bearings back. And now it's just chair mania in this fucking ring. They take a chair, put it on Shelley's neck. Johnny takes another chair, hits this man in the face.
This was crazy.
Concerto right to the face.
It wasn't a concerto, dude. He uses it as like a baseball bat.
He
Hits
like
the freaking chair, and it spins around
Yep.
his neck, dude.
Yep,
The chair,
yep.
That was crazy. I've never seen something like that.
So
That was
now
insane.
that ladder that had gotten pushed over previously is now bounced back the other way. The ladder is actively bouncing on the ropes as DIY is like hitting people with chairs, and the crowd is like losing their mind because it's just so ridiculous at this point. DIY, they set up two chairs. So this is a normal wrestling thing. You take two chairs and you put them facing each other so that it almost makes like a makeshift table between the two foldable chairs. These motherfuckers take the two chairs and they flip them the other way so they're pointing up and there is no bed to land on. And they look like they're going to suplex Dawkins onto these chairs. Montez Ford saves him, but their chairs are still set up that in that way. Like, this is very painful, right? Getting slammed onto two like foldable chairs back to back. Dawkins then takes Johnny, who had just been kind of like stunned by Montez, and does his finisher again to Johnny on the chairs that are standing up. That is so painful. And Johnny immediately, like, his eyes pop out of his face because you can tell. No, his back is actually just hurt. Like, he just hurt himself.
Yeah.
And and Joe Tess is losing his mind. Absolutely losing his mind. Calling the match of his life. Oh my God. Okay. So this is where you're like, surely Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins just set up the ladder and go and climb and win the match. They go to the middle of the ring, they face each other, they slap each other's chests, and they go, "Get the tables!" And the crowd is like, "What? Like, they're gonna go harder? We're getting more from here because it's our." Ladies and gentlemen, this match is already really fucking good by this point. They could have ended it right here. And they're like, no, get the tables. They come back. The crowd, I put in all caps here, the crowd is hype. Like, they're losing their minds. Dawkins sets up Ciampa to get super kicked, like, on the outside. But Ciampa, like, I'm trying to think how to explain this. So, like, they kind of go back and forth. They're setting up these tables. Tommaso kind of starts fighting Dawkins. But then Dawkins, like, kind of like super kicks him and, you know, gets him in an electric chair. So in wrestling, that means, like, imagine a boyfriend at a concert putting his girlfriend on his shoulders, right? That is an electric chair in wrestling. You normally would then drop them down and it would kind of hurt or whatever, right? Angelo sets him up like this on the outside of the ring. All the other, I guess it would be three men line up behind them. And Montez Ford once again does a spot where he runs one angle and then runs back and front flips out of the ring and hits Tommaso off the electric chair, which is nuts, into the group that is behind, and they all go to the ground, sprawled out. The crowd is once again losing their mind. Now they're all on the outside. They're all on the outside. They're beating each other up. Okay, it's kind of just a free-for-all. Like, there are certain moments in WWE history that you really can't forget, right? Because they're so either funny or goofy or whatever it is, memorable in some stupid ass way, right? And what I'm trying to draw all of you to emotionally is like a Buffalo Bills fan throwing a dildo on the field, okay? Montez Ford, out of nowhere, from off screen, just starts beating Tommaso Ciampa with a prosthetic leg. And you're like, what is that? Like, you're trying to look and you're like, what is that? And Joe Tess is like, that's a prosthetic leg. Like, he's losing his mind. And you're like, did they have one sitting under the ring? No. Montez goes to give it back to a guy who was standing ringside because he has a real prosthetic leg. The guy took it off and handed it to him, and he took it and started beating people up with it. That is the spirit of wrestling. That is Wrestling 101.
Well,
that was just one part of this match. Like, that was
a fan that posted a video on TikTok who was like, he's like, this is the moment of
this is it, yeah.
Dude takes his leg. He's like, take my leg.
Please,
my
yeah.
leg.
Like, this, I don't think this was scripted at all. This was someone realizing the moment, realizing the spot. Montez Ford, the fucking GOAT, by the way. I think we both we can get to like the projection when I promise, ladies and gentlemen, we are now 2/3 through this. I swear to God, this is so crazy. It's like, I'm trying. Let me see if I can find where I just was. Holy fuck! They beat each other with the prosthetic leg. Ciampa sets up
a ladder spot that happened right.
Yes, Ciampa sets up a ladder on the outside, bridged, and he holds it in place, and he sets up a table on the ladder, and you're kind of thinking like he's about to do something dastardly. He doesn't do anything super crazy, but he does run Montez into the table sitting on the ladder, like hurts him doing that. Then Sabin puts this is where they just start losing their minds. Sabin from Motor City Machine Guns puts Dawkins on a table and splashes on him, and they just go through the table. That's one. Then Montez Ford sets up Ciampa on the table and literally does the same thing like 20 seconds later. Swanton bomb onto Ciampa from inside the ring, jumps over the ropes to the outside, and Swanton bombs him. Montez, the crowd now once again is doing "This is awesome" like chants again. Ciampa hits his finisher White Noise, which is another like twisted inverted DDT style move. So this is after they go through that table. So remember, that ladder is still set up on the outside near where they just landed. They're both on the ring apron. Tommaso takes Montez and carries him and slams him through that fucking ladder and breaks the ladder on the outside. Johnny sets up a ladder to get the belts. Motor City Machine Gun stops him from climbing. Johnny teases a slingshot DDT to Shelly on the outside to do his finisher. There is a ladder set up out there, or a table or something, but they don't do that. Motor City Machine Gun instead elects to take Johnny Gargano and do their tag team finisher, the Skull and Bones, to Johnny Gargano through the table on the outside from the inside of the ring. So I cannot, ladies and gentlemen, please go back and watch this match. This is awesome chance start once again. Joe Tessitore is going crazy for Ciampa, who is now, everyone is like fucked up, laying around. Ciampa gets back in the ring. He's going up to climb and get the belts. Ciampa is holding the belts. Motor City Machine Gun removes the ladder, so now Ciampa is dangling. He's dangling by the belts. Motor City Machine Gun take the chairs laying around the ring and start hitting Ciampa like a piñata, but they quickly stop. Why, you might ask? Why would they do that? He's in such a vulnerable spot. They immediately grab the table sitting in the corner of the ring and position it underneath of him. At the same exact time, you see so clearly in your mind's eye Angelo Dawkins climbing up the ladder diagonal to Tommaso Ciampa, who is still dangling by the belts. And he does it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a wrestling fan, you know what I'm talking about. He does the Jeff Hardy edge spot, maybe not perfected, maybe not executed like they did 20 years ago. He spears Ciampa off the belts through the table down below. I'm not so sure Angelo didn't break his own leg doing that. I'm not so sure Ciampa didn't break a disc.
Ciampa landed on his knee.
He landed right on his knee.
Underneath. Oh, it was ugly. But he looked to be okay. But
this is just absolutely insane. Also, Dylan Gabriel at this exact moment just got picked by the Browns. No one's picking Shadur Sanders. What is going on? You know what I mean? What is happening at this exact moment in time? I don't know. It's nuts.
Like, what are you talking about?
It's nuts. I put this note because this is what was happening at that exact time. Shadur had been getting passed in the NFL draft. So you're literally going back and forth. Dylan Gabriel just got picked by the Browns, and you're like, holy shit. Motor City Machine Gun set up a ladder. to get the belt. One is climbing while the other one is guarding. So now they're just being smart about it. They're like, okay, one of us is going to hit anybody that tries to come and interfere with this. Johnny Gargano comes in the ring with a chair, immediately hits the one that is guarding, and then throws the chair. He throws the chair at the one that's up on the ladder, and he falls off the ladder. So now Johnny climbs. He's the only one up there. But then the guy who he had only regularly hit with the chair, Sabin climbs up the ladder. So now this has to be the end, right? Johnny Gargano, DIY.
You forgot. Montez Ford is in the ladder.
No.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Johnny Gargano is climbing up, and Sabin is climbing up, and they both get up there. Let's see. Sabin and Johnny have a back and forth. Punching, whatever. Sabin gets Johnny off. So now it is just Sabin, Motor City Machine Guns to win the belts, and out of nowhere, Montez Ford jumps from the turnbuckle to the ladder. The top of the ladder, and now he's just immediately up there with Sabin, and they're fighting now, and he gets Sabin off the ladder, and you're like, oh my god, this is it. Street Profits are going to retain. The crowd is losing their mind because they want Street Profits to win this match. That is obvious. Johnny Gargano comes back, pulls Montez Ford down through the ladder, through the spokes, traps him in there, and hits one of the nastiest super kicks I've ever seen. And Montez sells it like $1 million. You're doing great, kid. You know what I mean? Like, he kills it. He literally looks like he just got like killed by a kick. Yep. And Johnny Gargano leaves his fucking lifeless body right there in the spokes of the ladder, climbs over to go get the belts. Shelly from Motor City Machine Guns is now back up. Now it is once again Motor City and DIY fighting for the belts at the top. You're like losing your mind. This has to be it. This has to be it. Which one is going to get it? And you're booing because it's like not Street Profits. Like this is like a wrestling Hail Mary. Okay, this is a wrestling version of Hail Mary, if there is one. Montez Ford does not push the ladder over. Montez Ford does not pull either one of them down. Montez Ford jumps onto the side of this aluminum ladder and proceeds to fight the two men on the actual regular spokes of the ladder, and he fights them both off of it, climbs to the top, and takes the belts. That's a match. That is one of the best matches I've ever watched in my entire life. Cinema. Absolute cinema. I cannot believe what I just read to y'all. The crowd went for I didn't really say this at first. The crowd, not only did they not really cheer, they didn't even really boo both DIY and Motor City Machine Gun. Nope. They did not care about these tag teams. They didn't even really cheer for Street Profit that hard. They did, but not really. These 6 men forced those however many tens of thousands of people to never, ever forget who they are. This was a 10 out of 5 match. Yes, the two losing teams pretend to sit in the ring and be disappointed. I want to go find a YouTube video where someone in the crowd filmed like the post camera shutting off. I hope they got a standing ovation. I hope they got to join the crowd and join them because my last note here, Street Profits join the crowd. They do their now, I would say, over version of the yeet, which is them going like this. This is like an old you and me would know, like, this is from back in the day. People used to do this a lot. But they just go like, like that's all it is, you know? And the whole stadium is doing it with the street. Nope. So this is it. Nobody's leaving their seats. A lot of people at the end of a, main event of SmackDown, especially SmackDown, it's late. It's later usually a SmackDown than a Raw. And you want to get home on a Friday, whatever. No one was leaving their seats. No one. They all wanted to stay there like it was a WrestleMania main event, and it was like the last time they were going to get to see something like that. I mean, guys, you have to, if I have to believe WWE is going to upload the full match to YouTube, if it's not already uploaded. That was the match. I know obviously, yes, I just talked a lot, Tyler. What did you think? You spend as much time as you want to talk about it because I think it really deserves it, honestly.
I'm not gonna spend much. But because you did it justice. It was the greatest match I have witnessed since my return to wrestling in the past 2.5 years, whatever it's been. Um, a masterpiece, an absolute masterpiece. There was it felt like hundreds and hundreds of spots. It felt like just something was happening. Montez Ford was doing flips outside of the ring. There was table spots, there was ladder spots, there was chair stuff. Again, the Johnny Gargano thing. The two of my favorite spots was the baseball bat hitting chair around Saban's head or whoever it was, and then the Johnny Gargano just literally because it was loud. He chucked the chair in perfect
And it was like,
it just
yeah,
smacked it.
right in the
Dude,
back, like right in the
oh,
meat of the body. Ugh, God, like
and then obviously
brutal.
The spear through while he's hanging
Oh,
off the top. Like it
I
was
was like doing
prime.
this physically. I was like, no, no, no,
Like
I don't want to watch
this is our generation's version of
the
like the
Hardy.
Dudleys, the
Yeah,
Hardys, and the Edge and Christian. This is our
it
generation's
is.
version because I don't even think I didn't get to witness it. I think I was either
We
too
didn't.
young or
I
I just
didn't.
wasn't into wrestling yet.
We watched the
No,
replays like after the
yeah,
fact, but
yeah, but yeah, it was, dude. Oh, and we got this on a SmackDown,
on just
on
a
a
regular,
Friday night
on
SmackDown.
a
These dudes deserve to be on WrestleMania, 100%, 100%. This could have main evented a WrestleMania. This could have main evented a WrestleMania.
this,
I don't
yeah.
care about the storylines. The match itself could have main evented a WrestleMania. It was that
This
good
was
of a
like
match.
this was so good. It's like what you were saying earlier. Funnily enough, like you really do like story a lot, often more than the wrestling. This was such a good wrestling match that it makes you not care at all. Yes, there
This
was
was
a
literally
story built, but it wasn't that good. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone would disagree with that. It really wasn't that
no,
great of a story,
the story's been
but it doesn't
okay with it,
matter.
but it's like it's
But
whatever.
it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it's
It really didn't
this was
matter, dude.
literally something. This was literally something you freaking put. I texted it to you. This is something you put in a WWE universe mode and just put everybody in a match in a TLC match and
Max
just let them
stamina.
go haywire.
They have max
Exactly.
stamina. They're all 99 overall, and they just keep hitting
they have their finishing moves.
finishers and ladder spot, like you just said, ladder spots, table spots, chair spots. They put the title of the match. It was brought home. Okay, TLC was that is what this was. This
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
no joke. No, this was awesome, and it was just such a great way to close out like what was already such a good show. I think
Mhm.
what had happened was like, okay, you got all your normal superstars leading up to this, and like I said, the reception from the crowd going into the match was weak, and I think that was fair. Like these aren't the most built superstars in the world. All these tag teams, like yeah, they're trying, but they're not there yet, and they showed you why you need to care. You need to care.
Oh,
Like you need to watch, and it was
yeah,
like,
they did a
wow,
fantastic job. I feel like based
wow.
off of that match, they're gonna get some main event
All
spots.
six of them. All six of them.
Yeah, also dude, great. But yeah, I think
That's
that's it for
that's that.
SmackDown.
Like
We
no
can
story beats from it. You know what I mean? Like
no,
retain belts. Maybe they bring it. Maybe this is where Penta and Ray really like get their shot after this
it would be cool.
to
It'd be cool
do their thing, right? But
for sure.
SmackDown has I think it's fair to say after that match, the SmackDown Tag Team Division, Nick Aldis, take a bow. You did it. You are much better than Adam Pearce right now at building tag teams and
Yeah,
just letting people be entertaining.
yep.
That's all
Oh,
I
that's awesome. That's
that's all
awesome.
I could possibly say left on that. So
That's awesome.
that's a SmackDown. Look, we're here like we say every week to review these shows, but since it's just the one show, we do want to hop into an extra segment here to just kind of wrap out the show for this week, for at least these couple days, where what's really happened in wrestling over the last, I would say, 2 weeks is a lot of belts have changed. So what we want to do is kind of give a just general future outlook. Who do we think is going to take the belts that are available right now? So no NXT, just our kind of first instinct, first shot. Who do we kind of feel is the most poised to take a belt, right? So
Yep.
we'll just start plain and simple. We got John Cena, your WWE Universal Championship belt, formerly Cody Rhodes belt. Tyler, would you like to go first? Do you have it on your mind, or do you
Yeah,
want me to kind
yeah.
of go ahead and tell the people what you think?
This is probably the one I have most confidence in, and I think it's CM Punk. I think
Yeah,
CM Punk is going to be John Cena's last opponent before he gets retired, like before he retires, and we're gonna have CM Punk as a champion. in the WWE once again. He's the one that's going to save wrestling because he is the biggest over superstar in the WWE right now. So I think definitely CM Punk.
Nope, I agree. That's exactly who I was thinking. And just to be clear, like our other predictions y'all have seen in the past, we do not tell each other what we are going to say prior. We want it to be organic. I agree. It is CM Punk. It just makes the most sense as long as, barring any injury, barring any like major collapse of fan support around either superstar. Um, I think what we get here at the very tail end of the John Cena thing is, yeah, CM Punk beating him to take the belt.
Yep.
Uh, I guess I don't know. I don't know if I would say yet that it's going to be the very, very end. Maybe it happens a little before, and then we do get like a John Cena redemption arc. Not really sure how they'll go about it yet, but I do think CM
I
Punk
will
makes
see.
the most sense. And it also just kind of makes the most sense that if anyone is next to be champ, it probably would be CM Punk, regardless of if John Cena was the guy that has it right now. If that makes, like, what if Cody Rhodes had won at WrestleMania, I would say CM Punk was going to win this next anyways. So
Yep.
that's that belt. Not much else to say on that. We got Jay Uso, your world heavyweight champion. Um, I'll go first on this one. This one's a bit harder, I think, right now because we're not really being put in a direction yet of how, like who's gonna try to take this belt away from him. I think what we're kind of being shown at the moment is that it's gonna be Seth Rollins. I think
Yes.
Jay will get a defense. He will win a match against not Seth Rollins, right? It'll be somebody. I don't know if am I blanking right now on someone that he feuded with on Raw this past Monday? Like, am I just blanking that did he run into somebody? I don't think he did. I think it
No,
was
Jay
it
only
was the
did
Sammy and Jimmy
the
thing. We were
yeah.
saying, okay, so let me give you all that prediction real quick. I think Sammy is actually the next. We already said this, but we'll just say it again. Sammy is probably the person Jimmy or Jay fights next. Sammy as a heel or some type of heel
Yeah.
thing happens. And then what I think maybe either the feud after that or the one after that. So either one or two feuds from now, Seth Rollins takes that belt from Jey
Yeah.
Uso. What do you think?
Yeah. I think we're in unison right now. I do think it's Seth. I think it only is Seth at the moment. I don't see any other superstars that are going after that title or in that title picture um, going to take it from Jay besides Seth because Seth then opens up, the CM Punk feud again. It opens up possibly Roman Reigns. It opens up anybody. It opens up maybe Drew McIntyre. Who knows? We'll see. But uh, yeah, I think we're in unison. I think it's going to be Seth that's going to end up taking that with this new evolution that they've got going on.
Okay. Okay. The next we will stick with the high tier championship belts. We'll go over to the women. We'll do Io Sky's WWE Women's World Championship belt. Who do you got?
Io is a little, Io is a little difficult.
It's tricky.
Because I don't think it's Rhea. I don't think it's Bianca. I don't think it's either of the two that they had a match at WrestleMania for. My, I'm just trying to even think who's on the women's roster right now
Do
that
you want me to
needs
say
some
mine and it might
impact.
it might jog your brain real quick?
Are you thinking of Julia?
Not Julia. Not. I don't think they do that yet. I think Roxanne Perez.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Roxanne
Yeah,
Perez.
yeah,
That
yeah.
that
That.
might be my most dark horse of all these selections, but I
Yep.
do think that is
You're
kind of the
so right.
next, like what they did with Tiffany's belt. Now they're going to do with Roxanne's.
Yep. I think Io. I think yeah. I think you're exactly right. I think Roxanne is going to be Money in the Bank. I think she cashes in on Io. Yada yada yada. That's kind of how that stuff works. I agree with Roxanne.
Yeah. So okay, you're agreeing with Roxanne. Not a whole
Yep.
lot to say on that. I don't have a lot of necessarily reasons to say. More just it kind of feels like this is the best person to build on Raw because I don't think Io's going to lose it quite yet. I think we probably will get maybe she beats Roxanne once, right? And then it's kind of
Yep.
down the line, but they are starting to
A
build
couple
those
matches.
blocks now for us that we need to pay attention to Roxanne Perez. So, cool. So we'll go to Tiffany Stratton's belt next. Her I'll be honest with you. I don't remember the difference in actual title name between both of the women's belts. Like which one is it?
The
Women's
women's
World and
world
then
champion is
WWE.
Io, and then WWE Universal. It's the
Okay,
same. It's the same setup
Tiffany.
as the. Yep.
I see. Okay. So Tiffany's belt. Um, so right now, I this is what I know for a fact, or this is what I feel in my heart. Like in the sense that like I just said, I think Roxanne will be the one to take that other belt. I don't think they love the idea of ever having like two younger or too older at the same time with any given two belts. So it's like
Mhm.
they're gonna have like or I say older, but more just like people that have been champs versus people that haven't. So I do think the next person to take Tiffany's belt will be, um, actually. See, this is hard. This is hard. I want to say just Nia Jax. I actually don't. I'm not saying
Okay.
Nia wins this match. It's probably coming up, but maybe like a little further down the line. But part of me almost wants to say Naomi. Part of me wants to say Naomi, that she will be the next one.
Me, that's my
I'll let
pick.
you go,
Naomi's
Naomi.
my
Okay,
pick.
okay,
Naomi's my pick. I think Tiffy clears Nia. I think she
yeah.
forces Nia to basically go over to Raw and have another heel over on Raw and
Ooh,
that kind of stuff.
interesting.
Um, and then yes, I think Naomi is a perfect opponent to steal it from Tiffany. And then you got the Tiff or the Naomi versus Jade because
True, true.
Jade and Tiffy are two faces. You know, you can't really
Yeah,
you
that's a great
can but
point.
you can't. So Naomi comes in and then that loops in Jade and then we have that aspect for it. So yeah, I think Naomi is definitely the option there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll brew on that one. Maybe I will ultimately kind of switch over to Naomi on that, but no, I think they might want a vet who has one before. But at the same time, I do think Naomi needs to get something here at some point. So we'll see. We'll
No,
see.
yeah, the main belts are kind of a little bit easier to predict because there's only a couple people in the main belt pictures right now.
Yeah.
Um, but the mid card is kind of where it opens up. So
Right.
if
So
you want
that's
to
what we get
start
into
with,
now. Which one were you?
we can just start with what do we start on? So we'll just do the Intercontinental Championship. We'll
Intercontinental.
see
So
what
that's
Yeah.
Dominic Mysterio's Intercontinental Championship. You can go first on this one if you'd like.
Um, I do think Dom's is a little bit easier to kind of predict as well, in my opinion. I do think it's going to be actually maybe not. Um, maybe they kind of let that go. Let's say you can also cut this out of the actual video
You're
itself,
good.
because I know I'm taking a little bit of time. I was gonna say Finn. I was gonna say Finn, but
That's what I figured you were about to say. Yeah.
my dark horse is Carmelo Hayes.
Ooh, I like it. I
My
like
dark
it.
horse is Carmelo Hayes.
No, I like it. Like that would be a perfect belt for Carmelo. I mean that would make perfect sense. He needs to get a belt of some kind soon. Soon.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it
yeah.
can't keep. Something has to give. Like Andre the Giant Battle Royale. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, but no, that I like that one. I'm actually gonna go with. This is a little bit of bias, but I actually think it makes a ton of sense. And we haven't seen a ton of him super recently, which does make me think that he's getting ready to come out to do this, which is Ludwig Kaiser. I do think it is going to be Ludwig Kaiser
Yeah.
who feuds with Dom, and does ultimately beat him off the back of Judgment Day collapsing. That's what I think
Yeah.
will lead to that. Versus Ludwig, who his whole story will be, I
Ludwig
left
slides
him.
in Liv's DMs.
Maybe, but more. I was gonna say Ludwig is gonna be all talking about like I'm here on my own. I don't need mommy and daddy to take care of me. Like I literally left Gunter. Like I left him, and now I'm doing this myself. And it will lead into
Yeah.
Ludwig taking that belt. But there's nothing setting up for that quite yet. But hey, if we get a promo sometime in the next couple of weeks where all of a sudden you hear Ludwig's music hit and it's down out the ring, you remember who said that if you're first. But nah, that should be fun. That's what we got for Intercontinental
The
belt.
women's IC now.
Women's Intercontinental belt, so that would be Lyra Valkyria. I mean, this one does not take me long at all. I do think it's going to be Becky
Nope.
Lynch. Like
I also think
they
it's gonna
want
be
to, in
Becky.
literally the same sense of what I just said, they want a
Yep.
vet on this belt. They want a vet that
Yes.
everybody knows on this belt. Get the,
And
the
Becky, every time she has a belt, she did it with NXT.
Yep.
She's done it with obviously the other, like every other belt that she's had. She boosts talent. She boosts them very
Yep.
much. Like
She makes
she
way
did it
more
to
sense with
Tiffany
a
at
belt.
NXT. Exactly, exactly. She boosts that title. She boosts that title. She boosts the talent that's trying to fight for that title and get up to it. So, and then that means Lyra can just move on to the main event, to the main card, or to the that stuff. And she's good enough. She can do it. She can fight with the likes of Io and Tiffany Stratton and all those other. Move her on. Let her go do that stuff. Let Becky kind of handle the mid card and build up this younger talent because I do think we're going to get a lot of women call ups from NXT this year, and I think
I
these
agree.
people, these women, are perfect challengers for Becky Lynch until they find the perfect person to dethrone her. I think it's awesome.
Like let them all run the gauntlet kind of thing. Yeah,
Yep.
no, that'd be super fun. That'd be super fun. Yeah, we're in agreement on that one. We don't have to spend really much more time. I think the writing's on the wall. Like
Nope.
they're
Nope.
setting this all up
I
pretty
know.
obviously. So cool. We'll go to the men's United States Championship belt. That would be Jacob Fatu. From my understanding at this current moment, Drew McIntyre is the number one contender, right? So that probably is gonna be the
No, he didn't
match.
win the match.
They didn't give it to him. Like they didn't actually give it to him
No,
as far
no,
as
technically LA Knight, or no, I guess it would have been
no.
Drew,
So remember, because
but
that's why LA Knight got in Damian Priest's
but
face.
no,
He's like,
I don't think they gave it to him. I don't think they
so
have
because we were
initially
talking about that they'll probably end up doing
officially
the.
announced that.
That's right. We were saying they'll end up turning
We'll
it to
see.
a fatal
We'll
four.
see.
They probably will turn it to a fatal four. So that leads me to
Yeah.
believe. Don't think it's gonna be LA Knight. I the WWE really loves Damian Priest for some reason, like a
Mhm.
lot. Um, I'm just gonna say Damian Priest. I'm just not even gonna think too hard about it. I'm just gonna say that that's what my mind is kind of gravitating to with the way, like the speed at which he's hit this level of the card. I guess you could say like how high up in the card he is when he just
No.
got to SmackDown and they're already pushing him super duper hard. I do think down the line here, he's the guy that like challenges Jacob Fatu one on one, and he takes that belt from him. Probably some crazy hardcore match. Because if you really think about what they're doing with Damien, he is now taking the Drew role where he just kind of keeps losing these big matches. Like they're not super important, but he is the one that just keeps losing and losing and losing. And I think he will be rewarded with a belt down the line here, and
No.
I think it will be Jacobs. So, yeah,
That
what do
could
you
be
think?
fair. Mine is Solo Sokoa.
Okay. Big family drama. I like it.
I do. I think it is. I think it's the end of the Timu bloodline.
Yeah,
Or at least Jacob being a part of the Timu bloodline.
I see what you're saying. So
You
maybe
know,
Tama and Tongaloa come back or something like that.
Tama
Yeah,
and Tongaloa and Solo can still be their little thing, and then they have the belt, right? Um, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
that would make
Um,
it where Jacob could be a face. That would
yeah,
actually,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that's my thought process for the men's US. Now we're on to what, the tag belts?
Women's U.S. Selena Vega, who just won that.
Oh, women's US. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
So,
women's US.
do you want to go first for that? I think that one may be one of the harder ones, just because we literally just saw it happen.
We literally just got it. So I mean, I'm just trying to think who's even on the women's roster right now in the in the SmackDown division, because there really wasn't much because there was BFAB, Michin, like those girls. I think it's gonna be something similar to like what Becky's doing. I think. Well, I don't know because this is like Zelina's first title, I believe. Uh, Actually, you know what? No, because I can't even confidently say that. I can't even confidently say that. I th I think it probably will be one of the new girls in either Julia or Stephanie Vaquer.
Okay. Okay.
Probably Julia.
Interesting.
Probably
Interesting.
Julia.
I
I
like
think
it.
Julia comes in
That would be fire.
and takes it.
Like that would be fire if one of them wins a belt that quickly, and I would prefer that over
Because
Zelina.
I don't see Michin or I don't see BFAB.
Yeah,
I just don't see him. I don't see him as whatever. But that's my
that's
pick. I'll
what
pick Julia.
I'm. Funnily enough, like my mind gravitates to two things, and you just said both of them. So either one of the new girls makes the most sense, or Michin. That's who I think is kind of like the only other mid Carter who hasn't had it yet, who is on SmackDown, who they like a lot, and they've already shown us in the past that they maybe want her to have that belt. They're clearly like with this belt, if it's not obvious at this point, they're trying to like they diversify the people that are winning this belt, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of like a lot of different types of people get this belt, and
Oh,
so
I'm so stupid. No, no, no. I'm not picking Julia. I'm so dumb. I'm
uh
so dumb. I'm so sorry. I'm
oh,
picking I'm picking Ivy Nile.
ooh, okay. I'm switching mine to that because you know what, you're totally right, and they were showing her being all like pissed and pissy with the American Maid the other night. Like she's clearly getting antsy, and she has been around for a minute, and she's actually pretty good. So
I
I like
just think
that.
that I think the
Well,
luchador thing that they're doing is going to bleed over into the women's division as well. So that's how
oh, do
Ivy
you think
Nile
she'll do
faces
that? Okay, if
Zelina.
that happens, that would be goaded. I was gonna say,
I
I
don't think
wasn't
she'll be like a El Grande Americano, but I think she'll face the
the luch
lucha
like.
type wrestlers.
I see what you're saying. So like Latina woman is what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, that would be interesting. I definitely see it now better than like when I was just trying to guess 20 seconds ago. But yeah, that one's harder. I think we just need a little more
It
direction,
is.
and maybe just off of next week alone, just to see what they do with Zelina. I think we'll literally figure it out like next week. I don't think Zelina holds this
Yeah.
belt for too long, unfortunately for her, unless it is a mid card belt. So what they might just be doing is straight up going, well, let's see what the crowd thinks. If they cheer for you loud and they
Mhm.
love you and they buy your merch, we're gonna keep that belt on you. And if not,
Yeah.
we're gonna put it on Julia or
Somebody else.
something. Yeah. So cool. That's that belt. We are now through the singles belts and we are into the tag team belt. So the first men's tag team belt, the New Day. Uh, you go first. I think I went first on the last one. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think Fraxium is going to beat the New Day
Fraxium.
and become the world. Yep.
So I have it. So for this one I have uh Ray and Penta, Ray Phoenix and Penta. I think
Okay.
they will get
The
put together
Lucha
as a
Brothers.
tag team, move to Raw, the both of them, and then they will build that feud for us to cheer for the faces, being this new Lucha tag team of two of the most electric wrestlers we've seen in a minute. And they will be distinctly different from Ray's group, okay? And they will win these belts from New Day. Like I don't think it'll
Yeah.
actually take long.
Makes sense. Makes
Maybe
total
New
sense.
Day does get one or two title defenses that are pretty decently mid card between now and then. But yeah, I do think it is going to be Ray and Penta um, for that belt. But what else? Because you said Fraxium. Like what's making you feel that?
I just think Fraxium is just they're a face tag team. And I think they were so hot in the NXT division that I think they're going to want to give them something. And I don't think it's going to be Montez. I don't think it's going to be their tag belts. I just think it's going to be the New Day's one. One of the greatest tag teams of all time in the New Day, losing their kind of, I'm not going to say passing the reins on, but, losing their titles to Fraxium, a brand new tag team that could surpass them. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So I just think, yeah, I think Fraxium is just the new flashy toy. Um, I don't think that the Lucha Brothers are going to become tag teams anytime soon. I think they're
Okay.
selling too much merch individually. I think they are getting too much hype individually as single stars. And I think they're going to be fine. I think they'll be cool single stars. Maybe as they start to die down and lose hype, then you blend them together. But they gave them both theme songs. They gave them both, you know, sick entrances. Like I
Yeah,
say, theme
that's
songs. They
true.
give
That's
everybody a
true.
theme song. They give everybody a theme song, but they gave them like good theme songs, sick entrances, pyro, all that type of stuff, right? So I just think they're going to keep those guys separate for right now. Maybe a year or two from now, when again their hype dies down and they don't really have a storyline. Okay, cool. Bring them back together. They are brothers in real life. They're great tag teams, and run it that way. But Fraxium is a true tag team, and they like again were one of the
Yeah.
best tag teams in the world. So I think that's kind of my explanation for that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like it. We can leave that one there. Go to
Mhm.
the. I mean, they're tag belts. They're not quite like 1-to-1, so we could just go to the next men one. And I say that I'll
Yeah.
just go first, and I'll just say I think Firaxium does win this one. So the New Day, or sorry, the Street Profits belt, I think will be taken by Firaxium.
Okay.
Pretty much for the same exact reason you just said. The only reason I think this one is where they're pointed to is because they just debuted on SmackDown, and I think they stay in that pool, continue to rise. I think it'll play out exactly like this. Like as Fraxium continues to have more and more just regular no title hold tag team matches on the mid card, they will win those
Mhm.
matches, and we'll see their rise, and they're proving themselves. At that same time, throughout those weeks, Street Profits will have a couple different title defenses against the other tag teams who they will beat. But then it will be this kind of build up between like, well, we got to get Fraxium and Street Profits eventually, right? And we will get it not this coming pay per view, but the next one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think SummerSlam it might be after Backlash, but I think it's SummerSlam where they're like, okay, this is what we all been waiting for: Fraxium versus Street Profits, and I do think Fraxium just straight up beats. I think it's just going to be an amazing match, and they just win.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's mine. Who do you think takes a Street Profits belt?
And this could definitely be flipped. And you might be correct on this, and then I might be correct. But I do think Pretty Deadly gets a tag team
Okay,
or tag titles.
I like
I
it.
do think they get a tag title here soon. You know, I don't want to say they just dropped the Pretty Deadly musical type deal entirely, but like they did a little bit, but that was just for WrestleMania itself, I'm thinking.
Yeah, don't want to
Um
waste TV time.
I think people like Pretty Deadly. I think people want to cheer for Pretty Deadly. In my opinion, and I think I'm thinking now, based off of my choice, I'm thinking now that Pretty Deadly would more likely defeat the New Day rather than the Street Profits, because the Street Profits are more of your exciting technical wrestler, and they obviously just won this amazing match. So it's going to be like if someone beats them, if someone like, unfortunately, Pretty Deadly is not like a serious tag team. If a
No, I get
unserious
what you're
tag
saying.
team
Yeah,
if an unserious tag team beats New Day, I don't think that's as like it's
it
like,
makes
oh, the New
way more
Day.
sense. Yeah.
Yes. So I might even switch my answers and say Pretty Deadly for the New Day and then Fraxium for the Street Profits,
Okay.
because yes, I do
Now you see it.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you can't have this match that they just had and then lose to a meme tag
I
team
I
in
I
Pretty
completely
Deadly
agree.
like that. Yeah.
And you could
So
have the New Day kind of like get theirs because it's like a rude awakening to lose to Pretty Deadly. Like that would actually make
yeah,
so
yeah,
much
yeah.
sense story wise because they've been such jackasses. So
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
cool.
exactly.
We can go on now to one of the women's tag team champion. Who? Liv Morgan and Raquel would be the one. Is there another? Am I
Yep.
dumb? Is there another one, or am I completely
No,
blanking
just
here?
one, just one,
Just
just
the
one.
one. Okay, that's what I was like. What? So you got Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, champs, not champs for a couple days, champs again, technically 4 time now.
Mhm.
I can tell you one thing: they're certainly not going to lose it to Becky and Lyra anytime soon again. But who are you thinking takes these ones home? And these are the last belts for us to discuss. So
Dude, I should have wrote it down because I had some like two perfect women in mind for a tag team, and it just kind of slipped my mind. But oh, Jesus
are they
Christ,
not a tag team right now? Is like what you're kind of getting at? Like you were going to put them together?
yeah, yeah, I just
Huh.
can't remember, dude.
I'm trying to think of like who recently.
It's gonna absolutely drive me crazy.
It's not a. It's not Maxine and whoever is it?
No, it's not them.
No. Uh.
Do you have anything? Do you have like anything that you are thinking right now?
So I mean, obviously, like funny that you're bringing it up because it is kind of like hard with the women's tag division right now. No, I think they'll form another team somewhere, some way, somehow. I don't exactly know
Yeah.
who, which is obviously a problem. It's not going to be any of the people that we already got, being Bianca, Naomi, Jade. You're not going to get Tiffy anytime soon again in the tag team. You're not going to get Nia anytime soon again. None of that. So you got to really think like
You wanna
who.
know who? You wanna know who I think? You know who I think?
Go for it.
I think it's gonna be Jakar Jackson and Lash Legend.
Interesting, interesting. I have heard a lot of buzz about them that they might be coming up. I have heard that, and you're thinking they
This
come
wasn't
up.
my first thought. This wasn't the thought that I was thinking of, but you know what I like? They already had Lash Legend kind of debut a little bit on the main
Oh yeah,
roster.
oh yeah.
She is a
She's
massive
huge.
woman. She's huge, absolutely huge, and she could be that person to go up against Raquel.
Mm.
They could actually have a true women's tag division, um, or they, from what I've been seeing a lot, have Liv and Raquel lose in NXT and then keep the women's tag belts in NXT because the women's division is so
It's
big
so
down there.
strong.
They can just
Ooh,
work. They can just work with that, and then we
that
don't
would be
need a women's
interesting.
tag because they don't do a good job on the main roster. They just don't. That's why we're having a
Yeah.
conversation sitting here saying like, well, who could they put together or what tag teams do they have? They don't have any besides Katana or Caden Carter and Katana Chance. That's
Yeah,
all they
it's
have.
like you got, the Secret Harvest, I guess.
I guess
But
that's now too,
that's
but yeah,
I don't think they're gonna do that though. You
no,
have like a
no.
lot of weird just alliances, but no, you're right. It is this one. Maybe this one is actually the hardest, just from the sheer lack of like available people to even do
Yeah,
it.
there's just not.
Which is what makes me think it will be some type of formed tag team. And so what I'm trying to imagine in my head, I'm trying to think of like who would form a tag team against Liv and Raquel. I'm thinking that might be the angle. And like, would it be maybe Rhea? Maybe Rhea finally dips her toes in tag stuff, and it's like out of nowhere. And she
That could.
so um no. What am I? We were shown.
Ju-
We were
Julie and
shown.
Stephanie Vaquer.
No, 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 no. You're close. It was Roxanne and Julia who came in together. Remember that? And you were the one that said they would be the Shield.
Oh, that was literally that's who I was thinking of. That's literally who I was
Yep.
thinking of. That's
Yep. There
crazy.
you go.
Why did I blank on that?
This
Why did I
this is
blank on
the
that?
only two superstars who, in any way recently, who are on the rise, have been shown like they might be something. They're right now. They're probably the only two that make sense in my mind, because it actually makes a lot of sense to like.
So I'm gonna stick with mine. I'm gonna stick with mine because I'm gonna stick with the titles moving to NXT. That's what I'm gonna stick
You
with.
like that?
I'm not
I,
gonna
I like
change.
that too,
Yeah.
but I would not be shocked if this original kind of guess of
I
yours was
agree with
right.
you. I agree with you though.
I guess that kind of fucks me up because I guess Roxanne for the main belt. So now I am a little like, eh. So this is what I kind of was getting at, like a vibe of. I was wondering if they were trying to set up this idea in our head. You were saying like, well, maybe Stephanie is that third member of that Shield women's group. I don't quite think it. I literally wonder if the angle is that they will be a group with Rhea. Like Rhea will be the one that
Good.
runs a new group of her own. I think she works best as some type of faction leader. I've been saying this since our first show. I actually think Rhea's character is pretty weak right now, and it's just like, yes, she is herself is fun, but even like, John Cena's and Randy Orton's kind of like adjust how they
Mhm.
present themselves over and over again. And I think Rhea is still presenting herself in the same exact way as the Judgment Day, which is fine, but you need like a group or something, a new group.
Yeah.
And I think it would be awesome if you have these two women cut a promo really simple. Julia and Roxanne come to Rhea in the locker room, and they're just like, we literally think you're the best. We want to be like you, and we want you to lead. Like, it could be so simple. Or they come out and fight someone on her behalf, and you could even somewhat turn Rhea heel, like a Roman type of heel, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I think that'd be really fun.
No, I fuck with it.
Not sure if it'll happen. I do like your other suggestion as well. I actually love the idea that they'll be down in NXT. Could be cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we got for y'all.
That's a show.
That's a show. Decent bit longer than some of our other ones, but I'm not too mad about that. Um, you know,
We'll definitely be coming at you with guys with more like content like this as well.
yeah.
Like, some down the road we'll have like who our favorite wrestlers are, like some
Oh
types of
yeah.
things
Oh
like that.
yeah.
Just some extra like cheeky
We could
content just
do
to kind of give you guys.
favorite wrestlers. We could do like least favorite wrestlers.
Yeah,
Current,
stuff like that.
overrated, underrated.
Mhm.
We'll start adding in these segments to go in the second half, so that there's still like a good meat of stuff to listen to. But we will always start every show going forward with whatever it is that just kind of happens. So coming up this
Yep.
Tuesday, y'all are gonna hear us again live right here again. You should get a solid presentation upgrade from both me and Tyler, who will be live streaming. Both of us should have like a pretty solid edited,
Oh,
overlay,
I've
all
been
that.
live streaming. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, I am Dan. I am Dan over for your channel, TNT X72. Come and check out either of them. I think we can actually link the streams now. I'm seeing this little thing right here, so I think we
Oh
can
yeah.
actually
Oh
do
yeah. You
that.
can do the dual
And
stream. Yeah.
um,
Watch us both.
so yeah, come check either stream out, whatever one you find first, and then go follow us on social media at DNT, or it's just DNT spelled out EAND, DNT Pod or DNT Show on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of those social media platforms. And sooner or later, I do believe we're going to be on like Apple Podcasts as well.
Yeah.
Come check us out on there, and we can send it home.
Yep. That's it, everybody. Thank you for joining in on episode 4 of the DNT Wrestling Show. We will be back Tuesday to discuss Raw and some other things. Have a good one. Have a good Sunday. Have a good Saturday night. Take it easy. Peace. See
Peace.
ya.